as you said, thank you so much for that sweet intro. I'm Jenn Gray. I am a podcaster. I'm a keynote speaker. I have lived, I think, 4 lives in one. Maybe you guys can relate. You've had some shifts. You've had some dumpster fires. You've had some transitions, whether it's caused by you or not caused by you. So the first half of my life, I actually worked on staff at a mega church. I worked with teenage girls. I was a speaker all over the East Coast, and I reminded girls that they are worthy of the calling on their life. And I was living my dream job, like to the core. And then in 2019, I navigated a divorce with 4 children and a job in a Southern Baptist church. And I don't suggest that for anybody, to be completely honest with you. It was hard to say the least. I lost all the titles that I thought made me. And so that really is what turned my trajectory into becoming a speaker and learning that even though my titles got shifted, and maybe you can relate, maybe there's some titles in your life that have changed, but who you are, it doesn't change. And that's what's ultimately most important. Nobody can take that from you. And so when everything got stripped away, I had to look internally. And I, made some choices. Hurt people. I made some choices I wasn't proud of. 2023, my life took another dumpster fire. I'd gotten a business partnership that wasn't aligned in all of the ways. And I built a massive business really, really fast on social media doing insurance, which again, if you had told me I was going to do insurance, I would have thought you had literally lost your mind. No offense, Tara. But I didn't see that in the cards, right? Like I just didn't see, but as you guys know, and if any of your other insurance ladies in the room, if you come with a heart to help people, it's an amazing industry. And that's all I came to the table with was I just want to help people. And I got licensed and I did that. And I stepped away from that business. And the irony was $40,000 of commission was being dropped into a bank account that was once shared, was not mine. And I had $18 to my name. And I left the partnership, I left the relationship, I left everything to ultimately rebuild. And what I decided this time was I'm not going to rebuild out of pain. I'm not going to rebuild out of unhealed. I'm going to do the hard work to build a life that I'm proud of. I have 4 amazing children. They are my legacy. And what does that look like going forward? So I started a podcast in 2023 called Be Jennuine with Jenn. I wasn't ready to do the Be Jennuine with a J yet because I was like, I'm not making robots. I don't want you to be me. But the branding is a thing. And so I was super vulnerable. I'm like, if you're looking for a podcast where somebody's going to teach you how to make 7 figures in a year and be super successful, I'm going to send you a lot of great links to other podcasts because that's not what this is. If you're looking for a single mom of 4 who's rebuilding and the mindset shifts that it takes and the journey of learning and healing and creating and building a massive big future, then come along for the ride. And it has been a ride. And so 2023, I started a podcast and I relocated back to Georgia. I got into local networking, and as a part of networking, I met a lot of really amazing people. But what I discovered is imposter syndrome is real. So every time I stepped in a room, I'm like, which one of these doesn't belong, right? Because when we step into a room, we know who we are in an entirety, and a lot of times we are our worst enemies. So we've already discounted ourselves before we even step foot in there. And so then to sell ourselves is like a whole other level. And especially when you take it even on social media, because then when you build on social media, you're like, oh goodness, I don't want to go live on social media because it's not going to be perfect and it's not going to look good. And you're comparing yourself to the, 8,000 other people building on social media. That's why I was like, we've got to talk about imposter syndrome. Because what we're doing is we are literally giving the microphone to a voice that doesn't even exist and using it to direct our lives. That voice is the voice of imposter syndrome. So the first thing I want to encourage every person in this room, take back the mic. It doesn't need it anymore. What good is it going to do to stay small and to not build a life that you're proud of? Who does that serve? It doesn't serve your client. It doesn't serve you. One of my favorite statements that Ed Milet said is that the biggest form of parent neglect is for a parent to not chase their dreams. So as a parent, to then let imposter syndrome win so that your kids don't get to see what it's like to bet on themselves and to chase the passion and calling over their lives, even though it's scary. And so that's why imposter syndrome is such a big deal, is why? Why do we stay silent? And I struggled with this so bad. A year ago, somebody said, hey, what's your 5-year plan? I'm like, well, I mean, I would love to be back on stages. I feel like even more so now, I've learned a lot over my journey. And I think a lot of the give back to the hard stuff of your life is to then let your life be a beacon of hope for somebody else who's going through that. Because you are the light someone needs from where you were 5 years ago. And some of you can think, oh, I'm not here yet. I'm not here yet. I'm not here yet. The fact that we're all in this room is because we are hustlers. And so we have dreams and we have aspirations. But if we look so far ahead, we forget who we can help bring behind us because they're going through where we are. And that's why authenticity is a big deal. And that's why not letting imposter syndrome steal that away from you is a big deal. Because what a lot of us need to do is maybe we're starting something new, no matter what season of life. So we're taking back the mic and we are owning that we're a beginner. Maybe you want to build on social media. Guess what? You are not going to be good at first. Does that mean don't do it? No. It just means know that I'm going to own that I'm a beginner and be vulnerable. Get on your first live and say, this is my first time doing this. Here I am. Do you know how many people are going to be inspired to take a step? Because they see that you have the same fear they did and you took back the mic, you own that you were a beginner, and you did not let that fear talk that day. That's what people need to hear and what they need to see. That's how we can use our story to help the person right behind us. And so when we take back the mic, we own our story, we shift the lens on our own story. Because just imagine, who does it serve to come in here and see, sorry, ADD is real. Squirrel, like I know that's my drink. Thank you guys so much. I was like trying to, I was like, hey, it's me, it's fine. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Okay, so let's talk about social media. Let's talk about imposter syndrome on social media. A lot of people don't build on social media because they are scared to show up. And I want you, it's only a question that you can ask yourself. Why are you scared? Are you scared of rejection? Are you scared people are going to make fun of you? Are you scared to look at your own face on a camera? Like all of those are real fears. And so guess what? Those fears aren't going anywhere. But here's what I want you to think of. Guess where we're going to put fear? In the passenger seat where it belongs. It doesn't belong in a driver's seat. It does not belong. It cannot touch the steering wheel. It does not touch the radio. It does not touch anything. It stays right here in your passenger seat. And you're going to go where you're going with the fear. We cannot wait for this to go away. It's not going anywhere. Every single day I show up, there is 1,000% of fear. Somebody said, oh, I wish I could be like you and speak and you not even get scared. I'm like, who says I don't get scared? Do you know why you're scared? You're passionate about what you're talking about. So my fear looks different. No, I'm not fear. There's no fear of crowds, but I want to be clear. I want to see transformations. I don't speak to hear myself talk, just like you don't do business just to do business. You do business to what? Help people? To change someone else's future? To provide hope for someone else? To provide financial freedom for your family? Fill in the blank. And so when we have this imposter syndrome, do you know where we have to center back into? Our why? Why we even said yes from the beginning. Why did you even step foot into building a business? No, this is not for the faint of heart, right? You know, it's might be easy just to go and do something else and have this stability. But then what kind of life would that be? It's fine for some people, but I think if you're in this room, it's because you want more for your life. So the way you have more is to take more risks, to take more fears, because that's what inspires somebody. Because how many of you got into being an entrepreneur or you started your own business and you expected to make money your first year? Like expected to make good money? I did. Because, I mean, hello, why else are we going to give up the security of a job to go to be an entrepreneur if there's no money there? But what I learned very quickly is as you build something, you are giving more sometimes than you are receiving in the beginning. And that's just called exposure. That's called building the business. That's all of those things. Other women want to take that leap and they just don't know the truth about building it. They just don't know the truth about what it takes and they're letting that fear. And so how can you be that hope for somebody? And do you know what? When you focus on that, imposter syndrome goes away, which is why whenever I go live on social media, do you know what I'm thinking about every single time I go live? One person who I think that needs to hear this. One person. So as I'm sharing, it's not about me and what I sound like or how perfect my words are or if I mess up. It's about, okay, what one woman needs to hear this message right now, because if I'm going through it, somebody else is, and here's the hope that I'm clinging to right now, dealing with this right now. Y'all, I'm building a speaker business, and I'm doing health insurance and life insurance on the side, and I'm doing all the things, and I do Instacart. That is not cute. That is not sexy. That is not any of the things. But as a single mom of four, it's what it's taking to build where I'm headed. And I made a post about it a month ago, and I've had more interactions from that post than anything else I've shared. Women are desperate to feel seen and to know that it's not rosy and pretty for everybody. It's not airing dirty laundry. It's having vulnerability and giving hope to some other body else that you feel the same way, but you're not letting your imposter syndrome take over. You've taken back that mic. You've owned that you're a beginner. You are showing up every single day with other people in mind. You are centering on your why so that you know that's why you're showing up. That's why you're putting fear in the passenger seat. And you are keeping yourself focused, knowing that you don't need to do more. You need to be more you, and trust that you're going to build a life that you're proud of, surrounded by people that you are aligned with and love to be around. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your time.